as low as 12,000 rupees. This is something that a lot of people go to Dubai for. एक खरीद के you will save up to 55%. Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Shravani, and in today's video I'm going to tell you everything you need to know in case you are planning a trip to the UAE. For those of you who aren't aware, I am actually a UAE resident, and depending on work, I'm either in Bombay or in Dubai at any given time of the year. And last month, I took a trip to Dubai, which is when I got a bunch of questions on Instagram on how you can plan a trip there, including things like places to stay, accommodation cost, how to commute, and so much more. So we're going to cover everything A to Z here in this video. So if that's something you're interested in, then please keep on watching. And if you like the video, please be sure to like, share, hit the subscribe button, and also the bell button next to it, so every time I upload a new video you get notified. And with that, let's get right into it. Okay, so we're gonna start with the most obvious thing. Let's talk about visa. If you have a US visa, a valid US tourist visa, I believe you are going to be eligible for visa on arrival once you land in UAE. However, if you don't have that, then there are a few different websites you can use to apply for a Dubai tourist visa. Now I have information pulled out from yatra.com over here, and यहाँ पे मुझे 3 options दिख रहे हैं. You have a 14-day validity visa, you have a 30-day validity visa, and also a 60-day validity visa. So depending on the trip that you're planning, आप कितने दिन के लिए रहने वाले हो, वो हिसाब से you can pick any one of these options. Now on yatra.com I can see that there are discounts running for a bunch of these tourist visas, so I'm going to just pop it up here on the screen, and links to everything that I mentioned here are going to be in the description box below, so don't worry about it at all. Generally UAE visa ka processing time is about 3 to 4 days, so it's not too long for sure. Alright, now coming to flights, honestly the pricing for a return flight to Dubai or Abu Dhabi can vary greatly throughout the year. So if you're traveling in like an off-season time of the year, then it's going to be significantly lower. So you could get return flight tickets to Dubai for as low as 12,000 rupees. ये मैं खुद travel कर चुकी हूँ at that price, which is why I'm telling you this. But right now, क्योंकि ईद का break था pretty recently, the prices were as high as 60,000 rupees. I'm not exaggerating. Even Indigo, these budget airlines were also that expensive. You really want to keep an eye on the airfare prices. They fluctuate quite a bit. And honestly, if you ask me, the best time to visit Dubai in terms of the weather, purely in terms of the weather, is between November to March or even till April. उसके बाद में बहुत ज़्यादा गर्मी होती है. In fact, when I went last month, it was 48 degrees outside. So it's really bad. Even though there is air conditioning everywhere, थोड़े patches होंगे where you end up, walking out in the sun. And it didn't hit me very bad when I was there, but when I came back to India, the weather change absolutely knocked me out for a good week. So it's just not worth it. If you can, then please do plan your trip in the winter season. Alright, let's talk about accommodation. Now there are quite a few different options here, but I personally think getting an Airbnb is going to be your best bet. Now for a few reasons, okay. Number one, you have a kitchen in an Airbnb, which allows you the flexibility to cook. Now I'm sure a few of you are watching this and saying, why would I go to Dubai and cook? Well, that's because sometimes it can get expensive to eat out. So you want to have that option where maybe you can, just have your breakfast in that Airbnb, या फिर कभी अगर you don't feel like having बाहर का खाना, शाम को you can just sit with your friends and cook up a meal. If you have that option, if you have a kitchen, hotel rooms में वो option नहीं रहता है. And also Airbnbs could be more affordable than hotels. In general, Dubai में hotel का cost बहुत high होता है. So I'm going to give you a few different areas where you might want to consider staying, and also I found the average cost of an Airbnb in these locations. Alright, so for starters, I'm going to talk about the area where I lived when I went to Dubai, and this is where I generally stay. This is the Marina or JLT area. JLT stands for Jumeirah Lakes Towers. So now this is मतलब काफी fancy area है ये, but यहाँ पे tram and metro access is phenomenal. So if you're planning on taking public transport, taxi मत लो, बहुत लुट जाओगे. If you're planning on taking the metro, then you want to stay close to a metro station. I'm not saying you have to stay at Marina or JLT, but these are some of the nice areas to stay, especially if you like going to the beach. You have JBR pretty close to these areas, so it's an area that you might want to consider. Now coming to pricing, if you opt for a studio or a 1 BHK, let's say 2-3 people are traveling, In case you go for that, it could be anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 rupees a night. Now, of course, as the duration increases, Airbnb का भी pricing काफ़ी dynamic है. It could change, but this is the average price of a studio or 1 BHK. The funny thing is, on Airbnb, कभी-कभी you'll find studios that are more expensive than a 1 BHK in the same area. So be sure to do ample digging into the Airbnb website before you lock in accommodation. Now, if you are a larger group that's traveling, maybe you need a 2 BHK, आपको ये area में 10 to 15,000 per night पे मिल जाएगा average. This again will change depending on how many days you choose to stay. Sometimes you could also get in touch with the host directly and वहाँ पे भी थोड़ा सा negotiation हो सकता है. So do everything you can, but nevertheless this is the average pricing of a 1 and 2 BHK in the Marina and JLT area. प्लीज़ कीप इन माइंड ये जो प्राइसेस मैं बता रही हूँ इट इज़ फॉर द मंथ ऑफ अगस्त. मैंने वो पूरा महीना कंसिडर करके ये प्राइसेस निकाले हैं. दिस विल चेंज ग्रेटली. इफ़ यू गो इन डिसम्बर ये प्राइसेस कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट होंगे. सो चेक इन एडवांस फॉर श्योर. नाउ अनदर एरिया दैट यू माइट वांट टू कंसिडर स्टेइंग अराउंड इज द डाउनटाउन और बिजनेस बे एरिया. दिस इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी क्लोज टू बुर्ज खलीफा एंड दुबई मॉल. अभी यहाँ पे भी प्राइसिंग इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी सिमिलर टू दैट एट मरीना एंड JLT. एंड इफ यू गेट एन अपार्टमेंट विद अ व्यू ऑफ द बुर्ज खलीफा, of course you're going to have to pay a premium. So यहाँ prices can vary greatly, but honestly थोड़ा बहुत वो मरीना वाला ही pricing मिलेगा. So at the end of the day it comes to your priorities. Would you rather stay closer to the beach or closer to Dubai Mall? Now if all of this sounds way too bougie and expensive for you, then Karama is another area that you might want to consider staying in, and यहाँ पे you will save a lot of money on accommodation. Even the hotels in this area are priced quite low, but I went and searched a little bit about the Airbnbs in this area, and यहाँ पे आपको 3,000 to 6,000 rupees per night में बहुत अच्छा accommodation मिल जाएगा. If you're lucky, you could find like a 2 BHK even around this price. And also the other benefit of staying in this area is यहाँ पे बहुत सारे Indian restaurants हैं. So if you're someone who you feel like 4 दिन के बाद यार मुझे रोटी सब्जी खानी है, or I'm someone who loves South Indian food, or anything along those lines, you're going to have accessibility to these restaurants more easily if you stay in the Karama area. Alright, moving on to getting around. Now, once you reach Dubai, how are you going to move around? What are the options to commute? Let me take you through that. There are 4 types of top-up cards that you can use that's going to give you access to the metro, buses, and also water taxis. Now, the first one is the red card, and this is suitable for tourists who have an extremely short stay. You can purchase this from any ticketing machine, and the initial cost of this card is only 2 dirhams, but it can only be topped up for a maximum of 10 journeys. The second one, which is the most popular one, is the silver card. इसका price है 25 dirhams, जिसमें से आपको 19 dirhams का credit मिलेगा. So you pay 25 dirhams, you get 19 dirhams of credit, which means the cost of the card itself is only about 6 dirhams. In order to purchase this card, you'll find it in some ticketing machines, but you can recharge it at any ticketing machine. तो कोई भी metro station में जाओ, there's usually like this information counter where you can go and buy a NOL card. Okay, the silver one is the one that is recommended for all tourists, and in fact, when I stay there, I use the silver one. Now the third one is the gold card. Now this gives you access to certain areas of the metro and the tram that other people won't have access to. Basically, Bombay में रहते हो तो Bombay local का first class कैसे होता है? It's something similar to that. Now because of this premium feature, the gold card is priced at the same price as the silver card when you buy it initially, but each journey you'll be charged double of what the silver card charges you. I also mentioned this in my Dubai vlogs, which I'm going to leave up here for you. If you haven't watched that, then go check it out. मेरे एक friend के पास gold card था, which he very kindly gave to me, and I used it. But that's when I realized that okay, I'm bleeding money, because for a 3 dirham का trip मुझे 6 dirham charge किया जा रहा था, and it's really not super worth it, because there was this time when I was going from Marina to Dubai Mall by metro. It's a pretty long journey, I believe 8 to 9 stops है उसके बीच में. I took the gold card, I went to the gold class carriage, and it was full. I didn't get a seat. तो वही हो जाता है बॉम्बे में भी, आप फर्स्ट क्लास की टिकट लो फिर भी there's no guarantee that you will get a seat. It's honestly not worth it in my opinion. If you're going as a tourist, the silver card is going to be good enough. Now the last card is the blue card, but this is not relevant to this video because it's recommended for people who are staying in Dubai for an extended period of time or work there. Now another 2 passes that I wanted to talk to you all about in order to save some money is the Dubai Explorer Pass and the Go Dubai card. Now keep in mind कि Dubai can get a little expensive, so जहाँ पे भी आप पैसे बचा सकते हो, it is very wise to do so. So if you opt for the Dubai Explorer Pass, it gives you entry to 3 to 7 attractions. So this is like a make your own itinerary type of card, and ye khareed ke you will save up to 55%. So if you are, planning on going to specific parks or attractions, if you can get them on the Explorer Pass, overall आपका काफ़ी खर्चा बचेगा, because trust me, the entry tickets to most of these attractions is not cheap. If you saw the Sea World vlog, you probably heard my friend Karan tell you about how it's 385 dirhams or so for a single park entry. Like for one person, 385 dirhams for one park. तो काफ़ी महंगा हो जाता है. So wherever you can save, why not? Now the second card over here is the Go Dubai card. Now this gives you free entry to 37 different attractions in the city for a period of anywhere from 2 to 7 days. This is also a great way to save money on a trip, especially if you're going only for a week. Now, ये दोनों cards का sub information is going to be in the description box below. So I highly recommend checking this out. Do not skip this if you want to save money. Alright, moving forward, let's talk about locations to visit. अभी यहाँ पे I'm going to give you mainstream locations and a few non-mainstream locations. Now, keep in mind that I have also just been a resident of the UAE for a couple of years at this point. Actually, not even a couple of years, 1.5 years or so. So I'm not going to be as well versed as some of my friends who have been born and brought up there. So if there are any additional attractions to this, you're going to find it in my description. I'll add it in later. Now, when we talk about mainstream locations, I'm sure सबके mind में एक mall तो आया होगा, which is Dubai Mall and Burj Khalifa. ये दोनों side by side है. So you can just, take a day out and just dedicate it completely to these two attractions. Then you have the Dubai Frame, you have the Museum of the Future, which is relatively new. You can go for a desert safari, visit JBR, which is Jumeirah Beach Residences. You can go to La Mer, which is a very beautifully lit area जहाँ पे अलग-अलग restaurants है. It's just a very nice vibe overall. In Abu Dhabi, you have Ferrari World, you have the Grand Mosque, you have Sea World, which is recently opened. There is Global Village, and there is also Gold Souk, जो बहुत ज़्यादा popular है. Souk just roughly translates to market. So a lot of people actually go to Dubai or just UAE in general to buy gold. So that's also something that you want to explore for sure. Now, non-mainstream locations में first thing that comes to my mind is the point near the Atlantis. This is on Palm Jumeirah, and you can see this in my Dubai vlogs. यहाँ पे भी बहुत सारे restaurants है, and it's a very calm and quiet area. But if you just want to enjoy dinner with a friend and just sit by the Atlantis, it's a beautiful view. This is something that you want to consider. You can also go to Al Seef. यहाँ पे एक बहुत popular Starbucks है, which I haven't been to yet. It has this very rustic, old Arabian feel. It's very, very beautiful. That is one non-mainstream location, which is honestly becoming more mainstream because of Instagram. You also have places like Palm West Beach, जहाँ पे बहुत सारे सुंदर restaurants है, just beachside restaurants and bars that I highly recommend you do not skip out on. If you have an international license or have experience with a left-hand drive and you can somehow manage to rent a car in Dubai, you might also want to explore resorts at Ras Al Khaimah. I'm not sure if there's any other mode of transport to these locations. If you don't have a license, you might have to get a car, or you might have to book a cab that's intercity. I'm not sure how you can manage that, but that will get expensive for sure. But Ras Al Khaimah के resorts बहुत ज़्यादा popular है आजकल. Motion Gate Dubai is also one of the best attractions. You cannot miss it. I've been to it twice already क्योंकि इतना ज़्यादा अच्छा है. It has some of the best rides. It's gonna be like a full day of fun. Honestly, if you ask me, I would recommend Motion Gate over Ferrari World any day. Ferrari World जाओ, it's like a nice tourist spot, but in terms of rides, I do think that Motion Gate is superior. Alright, now coming to safety, UAE is an extremely safe place. Ladies, if you're traveling there alone, don't worry at all. Trust me, you're going to feel so secure. And also in terms of just leaving your belongings here and there, you could leave a laptop on the table in a food court and nobody would touch it. And this is very similar to how it is in Singapore. If you've been to Singapore before, you know that nobody's going to touch your belongings. It's the same thing in Dubai. यहाँ पे laws भी बहुत ज़्यादा strict है, so you won't see much stealing happening overall. That being said, of course, be a responsible person and don't leave your belongings here and there. But if you do, I just want you to know that the chances of you finding it is very high. Now, I also had a lot of questions about clothing restrictions. Now, Dubai is quite lenient. It's very liberal. तो वहाँ पे आपको कोई issues नहीं होंगे. But in terms of Abu Dhabi, I think even if nobody would really come up to you and say anything. It's not as lenient as Dubai, and of course if you're visiting religious places like the Grand Mosque, then please dress modestly, but overall itna kuch issue nahi aayega. Now moving on to the cost of dining, this is going to be vast. Okay, this can differ greatly based on what kind of eating experiences you are into. Okay, so cost of dining at a normal like fancy bougie restaurant is going to be quite high. So your mains will be likely somewhere around 70 to 80 dirhams average. Your appetizers are going to be 30 to 40 dirhams average. Your drinks are also going to be around 30 to 40. Of course, if you do a fountain soda like a Diet Coke or something, wo 20 tak aa jata hai, and usually they are bottomless, so make sure to check that. But that is going to be the average cost. It could go a lot higher depending on how fancy the restaurant is, but ये जो average मैंने दिया है, it is of restaurants such as the Cheesecake Factory, PF Chang's, ये सब जो restaurants है इसमें ये average आपको price मिलेगा. Water is not available for free, तो प्लीज़ अपने वाटर बॉटल्स कैरी करो. दैट इज़ गोइंग टू बी अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ अ प्रॉब्लम देयर. यहाँ पे इंडिया जैसा नहीं है कि भैया पानी लाओ. दैट इज़ अ प्रिविलेज दैट वी डोंट हैव इन द यूएई, एंड वहाँ पे गला सूख जाता है बिकॉज यू आर आउट थ्रू आउट द डे, एंड इफ़ यू डोंट ड्रिंक वाटर यू आर गोना फील वेरी वेरी डिहाइड्रेटेड, एंड आप खरीदते रहोगे तो बहुत महंगा पड़ता है इन रेस्टोरेंट्स. सो इफ़ यू फॉरगेट योर वाटर बॉटल, प्लीज़ गो टू अ सुपर मार्केट एंड बाय अ बिग बॉटल फॉर 2 to 3 dirhams. उससे ज़्यादा प्लीज़ मत स्पेंड करो पानी पे. रेस्टोरेंट्स में आपको 10, 15, 20 dirham भी चार्ज कर सकते हैं वो लोग. Also an important point to note, if you're going to any of these restaurants, please get reservations in advance as much as possible, especially around holidays, public holidays जो होते हैं, school vacation का अगर time है, या फिर it's just the season of visiting the UAE, please get reservations. Also keep in mind, if you're going to restaurants in Dubai Mall or other malls that tend to be very crowded, यहाँ पे आपको waiting time 45 minutes to 1 hour भी हो सकता है, which is why it's always a wise decision to call in advance. Another thing that we do sometimes is, if we are going to Dubai Mall, Cheesecake Factory अगर जाना है, we know that the crowd is going to be, ridiculous. The waiting time there is usually 45 minutes and up. What we do is we go there, हम लोग नाम दे देते हैं, and then we continue shopping or doing whatever we've come there for, and chances are 30 minutes में वो लोग बुला लेते हैं. So do that rather than waiting for the time that you are extremely hungry and then you have to wait for 45 minutes. तब तक भूख भी मर जाती है. Alright, so now coming down from restaurants to food courts, if you've had enough of your fine dine and you're like चलो food court जाते थोड़ा पैसा बचेगा, यहाँ पे भी मेन्स आपको 40-45 dirhams on average मिलेंगे. This is the average cost of a main dish. Of course, I'm not talking about McDonald's. वहाँ पे आपको 25 dirham का भी एक मील मिल सकता है. However, if you really want to save money and eat cheap, then explore Dera. Dera में आपको बहुत सारे छोटे छोटे restaurants मिलेंगे जहाँ पे you can get a shawarma for less than 10 dirhams. You can definitely grab a bite and get a drink and be full less than 20 dirhams per person. It's completely worth it. So I do recommend that you have a good mix of all of these 3 experiences, just so you're not missing out on anything, but you're also making wise decisions such that you're not going to all of these fine dine restaurants 3 times a day. That can really bleed into the budget that you've set for yourself. Alright, now let's talk about shopping. I'm sure all my ladies are going to be interested in this, but for the guys, I've got you as well. We're going to talk about electronics a little bit. मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा knowledge तो नहीं है electronics के बारे में, but whatever I do know, I'm going to share it, so stay tuned. Now, for my ladies, in general, फैशन के लिए आपको शॉपिंग करनी है तो दुबई मॉल इज अ मस्ट विजिट फॉर श्योर. इट इज़ अ मैसिव मॉल. इट्स गोना टेक यू द होल डे. आई एम नॉट एग्जैजरेटिंग. पूरा दिन लग जाएगा, आपके 20,000 स्टेप्स खत्म हो जाएंगे. बट दिस इज वेयर यू कैन रियली एक्सप्लोर डिफरेंट ब्रांड्स दैट यू डोंट सी इन अदर मॉल्स इन दुबई. तो यहाँ पे डेफिनेटली जाना. यहाँ पे द ओनली इशू इज यूजुअली द सेल्स और डिस्काउंट्स आर्ट दैट ग्रेट बिकॉज इट इज़ अ टूरिस्टी प्लेस. सो यहाँ पे ज़्यादातर आपको हाई प्राइस आइटम्स मिलते हैं. If you want to save some money, go to any of the city centers. Dera city center is just one example. यहाँ पे usually थोड़े से discounts better रहते हैं, and these malls aren't as crowded as Dubai Mall. Dubai Outlet Mall is also something you want to explore if you are into luxury goods. यहाँ पे you'll find factory outlet stores of brands like Coach, you have Armani. There's a lot basically. I'll leave a link to the Dubai Outlet Mall down below so you can check out what brands you can find there. यहाँ पे आपको काफ़ी luxury items मिल जाएंगे at a low price. And if you're not into luxury, you still have Nike, Adidas, Puma, ये सब भी मिलता है वहाँ पे. So definitely take one trip down to Dubai Outlet Mall if you can. Mall of the Emirates and Dubai Hills malls are also 2 malls that I feel are very underrated. ये malls में भी काफ़ी आपको brands मिल जाएंगे similar to what you would find in any other mall, but it is definitely worth exploring if you don't like crowded malls. Dubai Mall is always very, very crowded. So yeah, these two malls also worth exploring. Now coming to electronics, I'm going to specifically talk about Apple products because this is something that a lot of people go to Dubai for, and I got my 14 Pro from Dubai, and I want to tell you a little bit about how much I saved. So the phone I own currently is an iPhone 14 Pro 256GB. ये फ़ोन जब लॉन्च हुआ था it was sold out everywhere and I got the deep purple color, so I had to wait for a good month and a half, 2 months to get it. I went to all the stores, it was all sold out. I finally placed an order online and एक महीने में मुझे वो मिल गया था. Now I saved almost 50,000 rupees just by buying it from Dubai, and I'll tell you how. So ये फ़ोन if I'm not wrong इंडिया में 1,39,000 या फिर 1,49,000 का था. I'm not sure of the exact number, but the effective price that I got it for in UAE was I believe 90,000 around there. And one more thing I did was I had an old iPhone XS which was in pretty good condition. तो वो जब मैंने trade in किया I got an additional 500 dirhams off. So मेरा effective price of this phone came down to 80 and 90,000 basically. So overall you can save a lot of money if you buy Apple products from Dubai, but if you're unsure then definitely check out their website apple.ae पे जाके prices देख लो. When I bought this phone versus now, dirham to INR conversion भी थोड़ा सा change हो गया है, but nevertheless it's still going to be a lot more economical to buy it from there than rather than buying it in India. Alright guys, so with that I think I've covered everything in terms of questions that I got asked. However, if you have any further questions, if you'd like me to take any of these points in further detail, let me know in the comments below and I'll be happy to help you out. And if you're planning a trip to Dubai, then I am going to tell you right off the bat, you're going to have such a wonderful time. Just plan out your days really well. Make sure you have enough time to rest. ऐसे नहीं कि every day you're on the go because बहुत थक जाओगे. I think a good duration to visit UAE would be 7 to 10 days. उससे कम बहुत hectic हो जाएगा. उससे ज़्यादा हो सकता है आप थोड़े बोर हो जाओगे. But nevertheless, I really hope that this video helped you. If it did, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps me understand whether the content is helping you. And I know there's a lot of you who watch my videos but haven't subscribed. So I would really appreciate if you would hit that subscribe button and join the family. And with that, I'm going to conclude this video. Thank you so much for watching and staying till the end if you did. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.